it's kind of a interesting preseason in that you've got this 3 games in 4 nights, and then a little break, and then you get kind of another normal NBA stretch of 2 games in 4 days. Just tell me what this is like as you're trying to prepare, and does it map out to kind of what a regular season might look like?
Yeah, it's good. It's preseason, it's a preparation, so we trying to use every single day to get better. The way the schedule is right now, it's gonna prep us for the season. So we just gotta attack every day and really try to get better.
Isaiah Hartenstein before the game in Tulsa was kind of telling me like he was on a training camp deal at one point, and that preseason was really important to him. And I just wonder what your thoughts were about Thursday night up in Tulsa and seeing all those guys who are trying to find their way in this league, get that opportunity.
Yeah, it was the same with me. I started on a two-way, and whenever it was time for me to show out, and whenever I had the chance to go out there when some of the players was out, it was a great opportunity for me. So I felt like they really carried on. They went out there and competed and played hard, and they showed what they could do on the court.
Speaking of two-way guys, I wanted to ask you about Adam, and obviously he got a lot of minutes the other night, and he just talked about how you guys have been supporting him and cheering him on throughout this entire process. Just what was it like seeing him get the opportunity that he got the other night?
It was good. I mean, you see the work. I mean, since Adam signed here, he's been working really hard, and he's been asking a lot of questions just to learn how to get better, which is good. And so it's great to see him go out there and really play hard and have the game that he had.
And for you guys, just this weekend, what's kind of the focus, knowing that you have a few days off without a game here?
Um, I mean, really use those 2 days, really attack everything, get better in the practice and stuff, and then during our downtime, really take care of our bodies and stuff because we know we got a long season coming ahead of us.
What do you think of Dylan's first couple games in that kind of point forward role?
He's aggressive. He's really good. He's showing that he can do more. He can do a lot. He can play in a lot of positions. So, we wanted to keep the confidence that he has right now, and then we'll see what he's gonna do in the season.
Been part of a lot of teams that have had to kind of come together in training camp and jail after some turnover. How do you think that this team is doing at kind of getting back on the same page?
I mean, we doing good. Like I said, we still got some new guys. Trying to bring them in our culture and in the way we play out here. But we still building the chemistry, and it's going well right now.
Uzman said that you helped set him up with some off the court stuff. I think a chef, and can you kind of tell me how that came about and maybe how you're trying to help him on that level?
Yeah, the same way that some of the older guys when I was young, helped me, having my stuff off the court situated. I was having a chef and being in control of all that. I'm just trying to help him and tell him some of the stuff that helps me, just being easier to play the game and stuff like that. And, me and Us are really close. We speak French and stuff like that. And so, whatever I can do to help him, I'll do it.
Mark, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou, over the last few days have just talked about being in the position that a lot of those guys were on Thursday. Isaiah remembered being, on a training camp deal, and he said that was his NBA Finals, a preseason game like that. How do you feel like the guys that were out there on Thursday, handled that opportunity within the team context?
The guys on Thursday were great. I thought they did a really nice job. Played our style into our identity. Got better inside the game, as I mentioned post game, and brought the exact spirit. Sometimes guys get in that situation and they want to do too much and they want it too badly. I thought they all stayed inside of what we did, and they've got a lot of examples to that point on the team of people who have just kind of stuck to the process. Those two guys, Isaiah Lou, Joe, second round pick, Wiggins, Kenrich Williams, Alex Caruso. It's not the worst thing in the world when you have to earn it, because you're going to have to earn it eventually anyways. And when you come from that part of the draft or undrafted, you learn on draft night that you're going to have to earn it. And that could be a blessing in disguise. It was for a lot of those guys.
Still have a long way to go before the first game of the regular season. How much cardio, like just physical work to get actually prepared physically for the season is happening right now compared to the, orchestrating on the floor?
We try to tie them together, so that it's not just like baseless cardio. But yeah, I mean, game conditioning is a big part of it. So we just have done a ton of playing in practice, including today. Today was a pretty taxing physical day, but all within basketball, running our stuff on offense, defense, but making sure we're getting up and down and getting everybody's heart rate going.
Mark, obviously, a lot of guys have talked about Alex's, vocality. I just wonder, how would you describe maybe how he maybe stress test? Does he stress test other guys? What's the intensity like, the push pull there between him and some of the other guys?
What do you mean stress test?
Like how your definition, I guess. Like, is he pushing buttons with other guys, seeing what they can handle, stuff like that?
No, I mean his stuff is all, it's less challenging the other guys and more, communicating on the play. He's communicating in the possession, and it's kind of a sign of presence more than anything. If anything, I think it really puts pressure on the people he's out there with to communicate, to kind of pace with him. But I don't think he's doing it in a way that's challenging anybody. I think he's doing it in a way that's trying to help the team, and that's one way that he can do it. And there's a contagiousness to talk, and he's a very, very communicative player.
Who's it maybe been most contagious with? Who have you seen big strides there so far with?
Just in general, I wouldn't put it on one guy. I just think, in general, your communication's better when you've got guys out there that are carrying that. Hartenstein was quiet, quiet personality, but one of the things that stood out to me about him in New York was how verbal he was on the court. I mean, he really quarterbacked their defense, called out the sets that were coming. You had to be conscious of your play calls with him out there on the court. So we've added two guys that are very vocal players, and that's part of the reason why their teams play well when they're on the court.
Cam Woods has been the blue coach for the last couple of years. What do you just think of his development in that spot?
He's done a great job. He's always had high intelligence. He's a very, very smart person. He's also been very principled. He gravitates towards strong foundations and principles. So good person, smart person, principled person. He's got a lot of good stock there. And now he's gained a lot of confidence as time's gone on. He's really learned the job. He's learned the league. There's a lot to learn when you've never been a head coach before. And, he's really caught up to the job. And I'm looking forward to watching him this year because I think he's kind of pacing with the job at this point and can really kind of take off from here. So he's done a great job with that program. He's got a lot of new staff there that he's got to train, obviously a new team every year. So it'll be challenging for him this year, but he's built for it. He's a really, really good coach.
You had mentioned wanting to look at that back-to-back as kind of a block of games in totality, and I know they're vastly different games, different lineups of players, but are there any through lines that you guys were able to take away from those two games there?
Not really. I mean, other than just like we're evaluating the things that we've emphasized in every touch point at this point. We've added nothing new since the first week. So it's really just about refining and tightening and improving on the base that we've kind of gotten in. And we probably won't add much new between now and the end of the preseason, and then we'll layer some stuff in that week in between the end of the preseason, start of the regular season. But a lot of it's just evaluating kind of where we're at on the most important things.
Is there any update on AJ's ankle?
He practiced today, full participant.
There was a play on Wednesday where I think it was Caruso and Chet were on the backside of the defense, just kind of exchanged their matchups to get back to a different matchup. When you see that at this early stage of training camp, what's your reaction to that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty relevant skill for Chet. He's gotten pretty good at that, and if he's going to play some with another big, whether it's Jay Will or Isaiah Hartenstein, that's a pretty relevant. It becomes more relevant because he's on the weak side more in those situations, and so he got a little bit of that last year, and he's probably going to get a little bit more this year, projecting forward, of having to put himself kind of in the help and bump himself low, which is something I think he's used to. I think he understands that concept and has done it pretty well. He's just going to be doing it more as we move on here.
Do you anticipate that might be like a push and pull, that teams might try to pull him up to the slot and he's going to have to communicate with the guard there to get back to a lower help rim side position?
Yeah, there's only certain times you can do it. If the ball's on the ball side, you can't do it then. Right. You got to wait till the ball goes to the weak side. And, that's why offensively moving the floor, moving bodies is as important as moving the ball. Because if you could do that, quickly, it makes it more difficult for teams to do that to you. But, he knows when he can do it, and, he's got to be able to play the whole defense, though. If he's up at the elbow, he's got to play at the elbow. He can't always just run to the paint.
Well, obviously, people know the reputation Alex has as a defender. I think so far he's done some.
You doing an Alex story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you couldn't tell.
Just ripping the wheel back towards us.
Yeah. So obviously, I think people have noticed some things he does as a help defender? Like how much of that is him, you know, kind of improvising out there? How much of that is you, you know, experimenting with where you want him on the floor? Like what's that like?
It's neither. I don't think he's improvising. I think he's very intentional. You know, if you watch him and where he positions himself, he's constantly eating space. You know, that's really what he's doing, and that's the simplest way to put it. You know, when he sniffs out that there's space on the floor, he closes the space as a help defender, and he does it in a way that's kind of irritating to the offense because it's kind of in passing lanes. You know, he had the deflection against San Antonio. They were kind of like 2-on-1 on him in transition. You know, and he goes up and stunts to the ball. He baits the guy into the pass, and then he deflects the ball out of bounds and almost steals it. Those types of plays are what he's got a great knack for, but he's not reckless with it either. You know, he's very intentional. I think he's just the game is very patterned in the NBA, and he's learned the patterns, you know, and so now he's figured out what's about to happen and what he can do to disrupt it. And we give all those guys the freedom to do that stuff, but he's unbelievable at it. He's obviously very, very good at it.